So you will observe two interactions between me and Alexandra. Please note what is effective about each interaction and what is less effective as we engage in those conversations. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a notebook and I'm going to be jotting down some things that Alexandra may say. This is something that I do sometimes when I have a conversation with folks, just to make sure that I'm capturing all the important parts. So if you see me writing down and looking down, this is what's happening. All right, are you ready, Alexandra?
Yes, I am.
All right, well, thank you. So let's go ahead and start with option one, or conversation one. So Alexandra is going to talk about a behavior change that she's been feeling ambivalent about, and I'll just guide her to that conversation. So,
Okay.
Alexandra, what do you want to talk about? What like to change?
I spend a little too much time online shopping, a little too much time and a little too much money online shopping. And I think I'd probably be happier if I didn't spend so much time and money online shopping.
Yeah, gosh, like it sounds like it's kind of a thing that's negatively impacting you. So, like, for how long have you been thinking about that?
I guess, gosh, maybe the past few years,
Oh,
couple of
so
years
a
now.
long time.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, right. So it's probably a good thing for you to cut back on online shopping, or well, I guess you can stop altogether, right? Because we need to do some of it, but
I could go cold turkey, except I do need to continue online shopping for some things that are important. I still occasionally need to buy groceries and cleaning products.
sure.
Mm.
Okay, yeah. So like maybe cutting back, like that's what you're talking about.
Mhm. Yeah, cutting
Well,
back
like,
would be good.
yeah. Well, there's like all this information that I can share with you about how cutting back on online shopping can actually help save you money and improve your quality of life. Right. And so it sounds like you already know that stuff though. So what is stopping you? Why haven't you changed yet?
Really fun. And I love sweaters. I love shopping for sweaters and I love shopping for cute things. Gives me that rush of serotonin that I don't seem to get doing other things.
Yeah, that's how they get you, right? Like with those
Hmm.
cute things, they just kind of hook you right in.
Yep.
Right. And yet I'm hearing, right, like you're kind of done with it. It's right. And as I've mentioned, like, and I have some pamphlets here if you'd like to read through them, that online
Oh,
shopping is really not that great. So we do have an expert who you can talk with about this and who can really give you some good steps that you can take to cut back on online shopping. Would you want to schedule an appointment with them?
sure. Sure. Maybe.
Okay. Okay, great. Well,
Mhm.
let me just pull up their schedule and we get you in the books and we'll find a time that works for you.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Okay. Okay, Alexandra. Hey, thanks so much for talking with me. It's been lovely and good luck with this.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Okay. And scene. Oh, all right. All right. So that was option one, conversation one. Let's move on to option two, or conversation two. So, Alexandra, are you up for having a second conversation with me?
Oh, yes, I'm ready.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for talking with me again about this, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So, is online shopping still something you'd like to talk about for this conversation?
Yes. Mhm.
Right. All right. Well, the last time that you and I talked about it, you've mentioned that that's something you've been thinking about it for quite some time. It's something you've been considering. And so, if you're thinking about cutting back on online shopping, and if you were to do that, what do you think your life would look like in a year or in 5 years?
Hmm. I think if I were to cut back on online shopping, I would, within a year, it would involve me spending more time outdoors, a little more time. I'd have more free time, I think. I'd feel a little less concerned about finances, and I think I'd feel a little more open to going to more events. So within a year, 5 years, I'd probably have a few more memories.
Okay. Yeah. So
Mhm.
more memories, more experiences,
Mhm.
more time outdoors.
Mhm.
And then you also said like less stress about finances and all of that.
Yes. Yes, I think I'd be a little less stressed. I think I'd have a little more free time, and I hope, I would hope that I would put that free time to good use.
Cool. So yeah, so experiences are important to you. And so if you do have the time and the money to have some experiences, what kind of experiences would you want to have?
Oh gosh, I think I would like to. I think I'd just like to travel a little bit more. But not necessarily traveling to New Zealand or to Finland, even though that would be very fun. But I think I'd spend more time exploring the places that I'm living in. I'm from the Bay Area, so I'd probably travel a bit more around California on more little day trips and get to know the area a little bit better. Or when I'm in Pullman, I'd spend more time exploring the Palouse.
Yeah. So that exploration, right? And what you're saying is getting to know the places that you're at better and having the flexibility and the time and the money to do that. That's important to you. That's a value.
Hmm. I think so.
Is there anything else that's a value to you that this change could support? Or are the goals that you have for yourself?
I think so. I think a change that this could help me support, or sorry, a value that this change could help me support would probably be, I guess, moderation and also thinking forward. Because I feel like when I'm online shopping, I'm very much present in the moment. In the moment, I want this thing. In the moment, I want this new sweater or new this new item that I think will make me happy. Whereas if I spend less time online shopping, I think I'll be able to think a little bit more about my financial goals for the future, as well as my own personal goals going forward.
Yeah. So like the
Mhm.
slowing down and kind of having a look at the big picture instead of that like impulse,
Mhm.
right? Like, and I think in our last conversation you talked about dopamine and serotonin, like the little hit,
Mhm.
and not always kind of being hooked by that, but thinking more about what else do you want to have in life. That was,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, awesome, right? Sounds like you have really good reasons to cut back on online shopping. And
Mhm.
if you were to do that, what would be like one small step you can take toward that?
Ooh, a small step that I could make to change,
Yeah.
make a small step that I could reasonably make.
Mhm.
I think a small step would actually be sometimes when I'm shopping, I can be a little mindless about it
Mhm.
because I'll think, oh, I think I need new laundry soap or toothpaste or something like that. Whereas I think if I were to just have an ongoing list of items that I need to replace, then when I do need to go shopping, I just have my grocery list rather than a vague sense of, well, time to spend a few hours on Amazon.
Right. Yeah. Well, going back to that value of intentionality and like, what do you
Mhm.
really need? What can be put off? That is tying into the step of just having a list,
Mhm.
sticking to it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that sounds like a great step that is, you know, that would be helpful in accomplishing your goal, but also, right, like has these ties to other things that are important to you. Um, are you up for trying it out?
Yes,
All right.
I'm ready. I'm up for it.
Okay, fantastic. Well, you know, if if you want to start whenever you do, and it sounds like you're kind of ready to get going, if you want to come back and check in with me and we can chat more about that, about how that's going in the future, if you'd like to do that.
Yeah, I think that would be nice.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Alexandra, and best of luck. I'm excited to hear how it goes.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Okay, and see you. All right. Well, you just observed two conversations between me and Alexandra. When I do a demonstration like that, I always like to check in with the person on the hot seat. In this case, Alexandra, to see what it felt like for you to have these conversations. What was helpful, what wasn't helpful for you.
Yeah. Well, I'd say I feel as though the tone with the first conversation, it almost felt as though I was introducing a topic that I'd had some concerns about and that I just wanted to be validated and that, oh, something I should be concerned about. And the feeling of being sort of pushed into change was something that almost made me feel more hesitant. Um, so that feeling of being forced into change made me not want to change. Whereas in the second conversation, I felt as though because I was looking into the reasons why this would make me, it would make me happier to change. I Because I was looking into those reasons, I felt like it was something I could walk forward with. I felt like it was something I was like, I could do this and I think I would be happier. So I felt as though changing wouldn't be something that would take something away from me, but would rather open me up to new opportunities. So it felt less like closing a door on old patterns and more like opening myself up to new possibilities.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. And right, and if I'm correct, you're talking about this like this hope of moving forward instead of being stuck with the second.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I think the second conversation made me feel more hopeful, whereas the first conversation almost seemed to dredge up a few feelings of shame for engaging in this behavior in the first place. Um, and so I find the first conversation made me feel a little stuck in my old ways, whereas the second made me want to adapt new ways. It made me hopeful.
Well, thank you so much for sharing this, and thank you again for participating in this conversation with me, Alexandra.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. It was my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.